Welcome to Hello Self. It's a podcast focused on turning your can'ts into cans and your dreams into plans. I am your host, coach, and author, Patricia Leonard. Hello out there, my Hello Self podcast world. I'm so excited to share my guest story and what he does for a living and for fun and how he serves our communities and other countries. As you remember, Hello Self podcast is really about turning your can'ts into cans and your dreams into plans. And I believe one of the best ways to do that is for our guests to share their story, because I believe in every story there are many gifts and lots of glories. So remember, we will be giving you tips and strategies for Hello Self moments that my guest woke up him about his life or career direction. And hopefully Hello Self will wake you up too, because our goal is to help you get your dreams and goals off that someday shelf and manifest them now. And the guest that I have today is a magician, so this may be a perfect way to help you start creating some magic in your own life. So before I introduce my guest from his bio, I'd like for you to meet Steve Varro, Christian Illusionist. And Steve, just say hi to our audience.
Hello, audience. Hello, Patricia. It's great to see you again.
Great. It's going to be fun already. Hi, audience. But anyway, let me give you a little overview of who Steve is and what he's done. I met him a couple of years ago, and you know how you meet somebody and you don't really know who they are. And then I read this bio and I said, wow, I'm even impressed more. One thing that I shared with Steve a little earlier is, as a little girl, I was always intrigued by magic, the sleight of hand kind of thing. Then I had a son of my own, and he could take it or leave it. And I would say, let's go to the magic show. So I'm still interested in understanding how that happens, because obviously we don't pay attention. Okay, let me give you an overview of Steve's bio. And I'll just pick some things out here because Steve is going to tell you his real story after I give you this overview. Like most sleight of hand artists, Steve Varro, became interested in the world of illusion as a young boy at the age of 10. And he wanted to learn everything he could about it. Steve has become a full-time professional, traveling all over the world, United States, Canada, and even beyond. He's done corporate events, worked with children in schools, colleges, youth retreats. Steve is the recipient of many awards during his 20 years as a professional entertainer, including the Grand Prize Award of Excellence, be easy for me to say, huh? From the Magic Arts Guild in California. Steve discovered the potential of gospel illusion when he was asked to perform at a church camp meeting after his conversion to Christianity. We never know what direction our Hello Self moments are going to take us. And I think that is the whole purpose of this podcast, is to help us pay attention to those Hello Self moments that maybe can change the trajectory of our life. Having performed in 50 states, 5 provinces of Canada, and 34 countries of the world, Steve now resides, guess where? Right here in Nashville, Tennessee. In his travels, Steve has performed with magicians Harry Blackstone. You'll know this one too, David Copperfield, actress Jane Russell, Clifton Davis, and I really like this one too, Western TV and movie star Roy Rogers and Dale Evans. I remember them when I was a little girl too. And other countries like the president of New Guinea. Steve has also been honored to present a command performance before the heads of state of Barbados and the West Indies. Okay, Steve served 7 years as the international president of the Fellowship of Christian Magicians and the world's largest, he and his wife Barbara owned a manufacturing company, Doc Haley Gospel Magic Company. And they have produced 18 books over the years and now own Estates of Magic, an organization that helps retired or widows of magicians arrange for the sale of their props. There's going to be so many gifts that Steve Varro shares today just about his own life and all of the things he's done, because he's touched through magic in almost every aspect of life. So I'm going to jump out of here and let Steve now tell you the real story. Okay, Steve, turning it over to you now.
Okay, thank you very much, Patricia. And I really hadn't realized how much I had done till you read my bio. But it's been a great career, it really has. But people often ask me, well, what made you become a magician? Why? How does that happen?
Yeah.
Most of us are doctors and lawyers and bakers and what have you.
Candlestick makers.
There you go. When I was 10 years old, I went to see a magic show, and it was at a theater in Indiana, northern Indiana. And the magician had me help him on stage with a trick. And I got done and I said to myself, that's what I want to be when I grow up. Now, I'm only 10 years old at that point, but I figured if I could learn that trade, I could make my sister disappear. My sister's still around, and I'm very thankful for that, but the trick didn't work.
No.
I bought my first magic trick from a cigar store. It was a trick that taught me how to take 4 nickels and turn them into 4 dimes. And I thought, this is great. I can make all kinds of money with it. What a deal. That's better than my allowance. It didn't take long for me to realize that when the light bulb came on, it was a trick.
Yeah.
Gimmick, an illusion.
Exactly.
I learned that the tricks of the magician were not the real magic. The real magic was from bringing joy and laughter and happiness to others by entertaining them, of course. And so for the next 10 years, I studied magic. I still have that trick. It's over there on my shelf, as a matter of fact. And it's just been a delight to learn as much as I could about doing magic before doing my first program. But there was a short blip in there where I stopped doing the magic and joined the United States Navy during Vietnam. And I didn't make it to Vietnam. I'm not sorry that I didn't make it to Vietnam.
No.
But when I got out of the Navy, I bought a magic shop, not necessarily to keep the magic shop open, but to help furnish my own show and then sell the rest of it, which paid for what I had paid for the magic store. And that was a win-win situation. The owner of the magic shop won, and I won, and the people that I sold the excess magic to won. So it was a good thing. My first paid program, 1969, December. I went out and I was trying to be a swab and debonair magician. And the first thing I did, I had a thing that's called a sleeve bouquet, and I won't explain too much about that, but obviously it goes up your sleeve. I took off my gloves and produced this bouquet, and it caught on my French cufflinks, and it ripped all the threads that were holding the feathers together on the bouquet, and all these feathers went floating down. I looked at the audience. I was holding a stick now, no bouquet. The bouquet was ruined. And I said, I didn't say anything. I just looked at that and put it aside. But my next trick, I took a magic wand and I gestured toward a crystal glass that I had on a table. And I was just about that much too close. My wand hit that glass and it shattered into a million pieces. I looked at the glass, I looked at the audience, and I said, I lose more glasses that way. And they laughed and they thought I was doing a comedy program. And here I was trying to be the next or the precursor to David Copperfield. I learned a lot in that show.
Oh my God, that's fabulous.
So I decided not to be the swab and debonair magician, but I added a lot of comedy to my program and we just had a great time. I performed then for several years around Indiana and Illinois. Then I accepted Christ as my personal savior. And that was one of those hello self moments.
Yes. Yes.
I decided to give up magic, and somebody said, wait a minute. Have you ever thought about doing this for the Lord? And I thought, wow, I'm not sure how that would work. And so we did a little more studying, and he asked me to do a program for a church group. And one thing led to another. And I have since, as you said, I've traveled and performed in every state in the United States, several provinces of Canada, and 34 countries around the world. It's just amazing. I decided to retire in 2019, December 31st. That would be my last day. That would be 50 years of performing. And that's why I did it. I figured 50 years is long enough. And besides, I didn't want to leave the profession with people going, look at that old man. He should have retired years ago. I wanted to go out on top. And people who do remember me, if there are two or three, I'm sure there must be at least two or three, they will remember me in a positive light. And ironically, 3 months after I retired, COVID hit.
Oh, yeah.
And it was amazing because so many of my entertainment friends lost all of their bookings. I felt so sorry for them. I, of course, lost nothing because I had retired 3 months earlier. And it was just, I believe that was a God thing, the timing and everything of that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that was my career in a nutshell. But I learned a lot during that time. And I do have some things I'd like to share, if that's okay.
Oh, that is exactly why we're here. Our audience, I'm already mesmerized, and our audience is going to be even more mesmerized. This is phenomenal. This is great. Yes, and you are a great presenter, by the way. Wow.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Magic is a tricky business. Pun there, but it's also a very enjoyable business. But we have to remember, excuse me, we have to remember that it is a business.
Yeah.
Just if you're a singer or a dancer or a public speaker or any other business, you got to remember the business side of your business, whatever your business is. And I'm going to be giving some examples, and probably a lot of them will have to do with magic, but
oh, that's fabulous.
you could place them into your own career.
Yes.
Personally, I am not bothered by the lack of magicians, or should say the lack of good magicians. I am more bothered by the abundance of bad magicians. And there are a lot. There are a lot of bad singers. There are a lot of bad dancers. There are a lot of bad public speakers and others. But the reason for the magicians not being better is because they haven't learned how to be an entertainer. The world does not need any more magicians who are not entertainers. We have enough. You're not in the business of magic or doing magic. I wasn't a magician. I was an entertainer. And we're going to go into that.
Yes. Oh, my gosh. What a great parallel. Yeah.
Howard Thurston, an old-time vaudeville magician, said, my show is a play, and I am an actor playing the part of a magician. We're all actors playing our parts. And what's the job of the actor? To make it look convincing, to make it look real. You want to make whatever you're doing real. If you're a dancer and you're dancing in let's say, for example, in an opera, the Swan Song, or doing the Nutcracker Suite.
Yes.
It's a play. It's not real, but your job is to make it look real.
Yes.
If you're doing a song, like a song that I heard you mention, I think, a while back, The Dance.
Yes.
By Garth Brooks. If you sing that song, there are a lot of people that know the words to that song and can sing that song, but you have to live that song. You have to become that song when you sing it. And that's what will make it touch the audience and grip the audience. You have to live the part, make it look real.
Yes. Yeah. That's funny that you would bring that up, because that is we try. The song itself tells us a lot about life. Yes. I would have missed the dance, the pain. You went through some pain when you hit the glass and things didn't go right, but you would have missed the dance if you hadn't just made something out of that. Yes, I love that. Thank you for that connection.
Yes, I had other painful moments in my life, but had I not experienced them and what led up to them, I would have missed the dance.
Yes.
And the dance was so important to me. And it's to all of us,
It is to all of us, because that's about life, Steve. Yes. That's what life, yes.
That's right. None of us would buy a trumpet, take one lesson, and then go to perform a trumpet solo for a paying audience. We wouldn't do that. We need to learn everything we can about our career before we invest our life savings in it. If you want to be an actor, learn all you can about being an actor before you pack your bags and book a one-way ticket to Hollywood.
Yes, good point.
Let's talk about assets for a minute. We all have assets in our business. What is your most important asset? You can list a lot of things in your assets, the building, the equipment, the inventory, accounts receivable. It's a huge list. But what is the most important aspect or asset that you have? The most important asset that you have is your clients, your customers. You can lose everything, but as long as you still have your clients and your customers, you can rebuild your business. Those are so important. Don't forget them. So often I see performers, well, and others, who go after people that are new. For example, if you're a first-time customer with us, we'll give you a new cell phone. Yes. What about the guy who has supported you for 15 years with your cell phone?
Absolutely.
Give him a free one too. In other words, we need to take care of and reward our current customers. You need to take care of them. It's very important.
Yes, relationships are really important.
Extremely.
Yes, exactly.
Now we all want to touch base with our people, with our clients and our potential clients. But how do you get the potential clients to spend more time with your promotional piece? Now, I'm not an advocate of always sending things out by email. We are not there yet. We are partially there, but a lot of people need to have something in their hand to look at. And when you send out a brochure or a pamphlet to a prospective client, you want them to read it. You want them to spend time with it. How are you going to get them to spend time with it? There are 5 business days in a week. If your campaign is directed to business people, there are 5 days, Monday through Friday. But what happens on Friday? You're getting ready for the weekend. You don't have time for new mail. You're getting ready for the weekend. You got a golf engagement or what have you. On Monday, you're catching up for what you didn't do on Friday, so you don't want them to receive your mail on Monday. Thursday is the wind down week, but Tuesday and Wednesday are the days you want your mail to hit their desk. If you're mailing locally, you want to mail on Monday. They will most likely get it Tuesday and some on Wednesday. Because let's say, for example, they have 15 minutes to look at their mail and they get an average of 30 pieces of mail. That means they've got, half a minute to look at your mail. But the slowest mail days are Tuesday and Wednesday. Maybe they only get 5 or 10 letters on that day. But they've allotted 15 minutes for themselves to look at that mail. So now they're going to look at your piece maybe 2 or 3 minutes. And you're sending them an enjoyable piece. You're not advertising caskets or something like that of a business. If you have a business that's an up business, dancers, singers, what have you, public speakers, that's an upsell. In other words, you're not trying to sell them something they really don't want to buy. And so they're going to have more time to look at your brochure or whatever the mailing piece is that you're sending. And that's very important to let them spend time with you in the mail, much more than they will online. They look at an email that they get, the next one they go to, they probably will never get back to your email. Fortunately, that's where we're at.
Mm-hmm.
Email can waste a lot of time. Sure, it's free. And a lot of people say, yeah, but it costs money to advertise. No, it doesn't cost money to advertise. It makes money to advertise. You have to make sure that you're going to advertise. If you're doing direct mail advertise, you want to mail it to your target audience. If I'm selling scuba diving equipment, my target audience is going to be scuba divers and shops that sell scuba diving equipment. I'm not going to send a piece of mail out to everybody in Madison or Hermitage or Nashville, because 95% of those people don't dive. It'll go right in the wastebasket.
Right.
You want to do target marketing. Now, as far as business cards, I think you should leave a business card everywhere. You should have a business card and make your business card unique. I receive a lot of business cards, but I'm going to show you my business card. My business card is the most incredible business card I've ever seen. That's a pretty brazen statement for somebody.
It
So
is.
I apologize if you don't agree with me.
No, it is. I
This
agree.
is my business card. Now, you can't read it very well. Let's see, I'll hold it up as much as I can. It says, I'm a Christian illusionist.
And look how it
This
opens.
side here, it shows the secular programs that I do. This side here shows a comedy character that I do. And this side shows a company that I own. So you've got four different sides to it. I didn't want to have 4 business cards, so I made this one business card that you can change into 4 different business cards.
It looks like a magic trick.
It is, isn't it? It is. But this is not a business card people are going to say, oh, thank you, and put it in their pocket. They're going to play with it. They're going to talk to their friends about it. They're going to show it to others. And they
You gave me one, and I still haven't. Many others.
Well, that was 2 years ago or so, at least.
Yeah.
Probably more. Make your advertising something that's going to be eye-catching. And let's see, what else can we talk about? Oh, have an answering machine. If they're calling people to hire them and you don't answer your phone and nobody picks it up, they're going to go on to the next person. But if you have an answering machine, they'll leave a message. You can call them back and possibly still, if you're talking about a booking, still get the booking. Now, I understand that there are a lot of people out there that are doing more than performances. Just work that to your advantage in your business. Call your local, if you got a new business, call your local paper. Contact the city editor. Tell them about what you do. I did that when I moved into Tennessee. I moved to White House at first, and I sent a letter to the editor. I ended up getting 4 columns, 8 inches, and a photo, actually 3 photos, 32 inches of ad space for the cost of a letter and a stamp. And obviously, I could not have afforded that much advertising space.
Yeah.
They came out with a photographer and they took some pictures. They did an interview. And I was booked for quite a while after that because of that one stamp. Of course, stamps were a little cheaper now. Now it's going to cost you 50 cents for that stamp. If that's too much, let me know. I think I can loan you 50 cents. So anyway, marketing is very important. Word of mouth marketing is probably the most important thing. That's the best advertising. And the reason I say that,
Steve, what do you think about, I was just talking to a young lady yesterday who's starting a business, and she's been going to all of these networking groups. What do you say about networking groups? Your thoughts?
I've never dealt with networking groups.
Yeah, where they help promote you. You go there and you have a lunch and you tell them what you do and you give them a business card, and then supposedly the process is supposed to be that they tell other people about you. The reason I'm bringing this up, I did a speech one time about so many people. Okay, I'm going to go here, I'm going to go there, and they pass out 1 million business cards and nothing ever happens. And that's what she said was happening with her, is nothing ever happens. And I suggested to her, what is your purpose in going to the networking group? First of all, if you just say you're going there and you're going to follow no, what do you want them to know? Because it goes back to your thing about
Right.
advertising or marketing but building relationships. So 9 times out of 10, if I've ever gone to one, I walk away with one person that I connected with simply because I was purposefully focused on what I wanted to get there. So
So now
I'm just wondering if people waste a lot of time.
I'm wondering about these networks, right? And you go there, in other words, when you go, there are a lot of people there
Yes,
and they pick up your business card or whatever. You
yes.
have a
And
table.
you have lunch and you get to know people there. Yes.
If it is, I went to one in Vegas, Las Vegas, and it was for a group called Cast. It was
Uh-huh.
for entertainers and agents. It was strictly to put the agents in contact with the entertainers,
Yes.
and it was a very successful thing because it was direct marketing.
It was purpose driven. You went there in order to meet people that could help you take your business to the next level. And so I think a lot of times individuals are not thinking about what is my purpose for going.
Right,
And
right.
they,
Well,
and it
what's the group that she's going to? What does she do for a living, for example?
sells insurance, just started life insurance
Okay,
policy.
Hell's life insurance. How many people do you think going there are looking to buy life insurance?
They're mostly young people.
Yeah, most of them are not. That would be a waste of time, in my opinion.
Yeah.
No, there are times when marketing, that type of networking can be very helpful. If these were all military people just getting out of the service and needed life insurance or something, or whatever your business is, if the people going there were connected with your business in some way or in need of your business,
Right.
um,
That's a purpose driven networking
right,
decision, just
that's
like
very
you
very
did.
important. Yeah, perfect. Personal contacts like that can be very important, but only if it's purpose driven.
That's exactly
Um,
what my point I'm bringing up. Yes. And I saw that when you went to the Las Vegas one, you were definitely purpose driven. It was an opportunity. Yes. So
yeah.
I think a lot of times, and I don't know if any of our audiences, but I'll tell you a lot of people that I have worked with in my career consulting and business consulting, that's what they do. They just go. Now, if you're coming in town for the first time, maybe you're just moving in, but I still say time is money.
It is. It is.
And yeah,
Getting back to this young lady who sells insurance, just life insurance.
I don't know that I can't
Okay,
say
well, let
that
me
for
give you an
sure.
example here. Let's say she sells any kind of insurance, boat insurance. Go
Yes.
to the boat show.
Yes.
People are buying boats. They need insurance for those boats. That would be purpose driven. But
That's
if
the
she's just going to a hodgepodge of people, that's a waste of time, I think. That's my
I can
opinion.
tell you, I did that about 6 or 8 months ago because I wanted to see what was going on.
Sure.
And nothing came out of that. Now, I'm not blaming them. I'm blaming me because I didn't investigate enough about what the business was about. I did meet a lot of people, but nothing came out of it from a standpoint of business development.
Hmm.
And I think if a person is wanting to make contacts that help them with their interest, then I think what you did in Las Vegas is very important. And that is, or the boat show idea. Yes.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I think those are important. That's a part of marketing.
yes.
Another part of marketing is saying thank you to your customers. Let me
Mm.
explain what I mean by that.
Oh, very good point.
Whenever I did a show, I always gave my customers a gift. We're not talking about $1 million. I wouldn't buy cars for people. I would give them this. Now, all this is a little address book, but it's magnetic on the back and on the front, and it just sticks together.
And they can put it in their wallet
And they
or
can put
what?
it in their wallet or in their pocket. But on the front, it has Share the Magic, Steve Varro, and it's got my address and information. Now, the reason this works so well, as opposed to this, I
Ah,
never get pins They put them in usually I have a jar, not a jar, a cup, coffee cup.
Yeah.
Stick them in there. The only time I look at that pen is when I'm looking to write something. I don't know what's on that pen. I don't look at that thing.
That's very interesting. I'm glad you brought that up because I did that very.
I did it too at one point, but now I use this. This is something they keep in their pocket. And when they're using, somebody says, "But how do I get in a hold of so and so?" They, "Oh, here, well, his address is right here. Oh, there it is. Hey, that's a handy little deal. Where did you get that? Oh, I had a magician here. This guy here. This magician gave it to. Our company is looking for a magician. Can I have that information?"
Yes.
And I've got a lead.
So it takes the conversation to the next level instead of just saying, "Hi, I'm Steve, a Christian illusionist." Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so this kind of advertising is very important. In my new business, I shouldn't say new business, it's been 14, 12 years that I've had it. It's called the States of Magic. You mentioned it. And one of the things I give out are these. It's a little flashlight and a keychain. You got your key, but you can't see. So you've got the light that'll show you where the keyhole is.
Yes. And at least, and they're going to be picking that up and putting their keys on there. Yes.
Right. And for every person who buys my product, I give them one of these. And it says, visit our website when you get around to it. Well, this on one side has a statesofmagic.com, but the other side is printed to it, making this around to it. So got around to it. Now you can go to my website.
Fantastic.
Pass those out.
Not only are you a magician with marketing, you're a magician with all aspects of the business.
That was the reason that I traveled to 34 countries and all 50 states. Marketing is very important.
Are you still doing your work out there?
Performing?
Yes.
No, I'm not. In fact, I'm coming out of retirement to do a very special program for a very special lady a week from Sunday.
Yeah.
And that's the only program I'm planning in my future.
And that special lady is me. He's going to be performing magic acts or whatever he wants to call them on my High Heels Cabaret show. Funny that you would bring that up, Steve.
Looking forward to that. That'll be fun. And by the way, I will have a printed introduction for you. And that's very important for any of you who are doing that type of thing where you have to be introduced. Well, you could be a CEO of a company and you're going to be introduced. Have written a printed out introduction. I've had people say, "We got this guy who's going to do some magic for you, so hang on to your wallets. You're in." And that's it. That's not the kind of introduction I want.
I think it's interesting. A friend is wanting to start his own business. He does do consulting kind of work, but he wants to take it to the next level and maybe get out of the doing as much as running a bigger business. You know what I mean? And so I asked him about his resume. It doesn't mean that the big resume has to be it, but to have some way, and that's what I really like about my guests. They give me a shortened version, or for my High Heels Cabaret show, I create a shortened version. Now, on the Hello Self podcast, because of the diversity of a lot of the people and the fact that we are educating or giving other people tips and ideas about how they can expand their business, sometimes I go into it a little longer like we did today. But you're absolutely right. I think getting something out there to make it easy for our customers and the people we want to work with to grab a quick picture of who we are and share it with people.
Yes, that's very important. Other things, let's see. Your attitude, not your aptitude, is going to determine your altitude in business.
Oh my gosh, what a great quote.
Let me say it again. Your attitude, not your
aptitude,
will determine your altitude.
How high you go.
That's
yes.
Right. That's
That's
right.
great. Now, help audience, you got that, because that's something you can use too in your own your hello self conversation with yourself.
Another way to say that is don't drool on the check. And let me explain what I mean by that.
Ah, very good.
When you get a check from the customer, oftentimes, if you're working for a business, it'll come in an envelope. Take the envelope, thank them, put the envelope in your pocket. Do not open the envelope and look at it with them in your presence and then go, money. If they're a business and they're giving you a check, they're going to give you the right amount. And if they're not, you've got a check, you can take it back to them. Put the envelope in your pocket, thank them kindly, leave, and then open the check. Get a half a mile down the road, then open it and look at it,
Yes.
but not in their presence.
A great point.
So you want to make them feel good, compliment them, make sure that when you come to the event, you're there to help them, not just do your act, but if there's anything else I can do, you let me know. It's important. All your income is not profit. In other words, don't spend it. Here's what I mean. Let's say, for example, I sell widgets, and these widgets cost me $1 a piece, and I bought 100 of them, and I sell them for $2 a piece. I sell them all, and I now suddenly have $200. Woo! I can go out and have a good time. I can't take that $200 and go out and have a good time, because tomorrow somebody's going to come in and say, I'd like one of those widgets for $2. Oh, I'm sorry, I don't have any. When are you going to have some more? I don't know. I don't have any money to buy anymore. So if the widgets cost you $1 and you're selling them for $2, half of that money should be used to invest in new stock.
Yes.
And anything more than that, invest as well. There's a lot of things you can invest in. $1,000 invested at 15% today will be worth $8,000 in 15 years.
Yes.
Television, $1,000 television invested in today will be worth $15 in 15 years.
An excellent piece of advice there is that we see the money and we run with whatever is in our mind about that. Oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to go celebrate this. And a lot of times they call it a celebration. But the fact is, celebration needs to wait till you get the altitude.
Exactly right. Well spoken. I believe very much in the power of visualization. If you don't think you can do it, chances are you're not going to do it. You have to believe in yourself. Let me give you an example.
Yeah, boy, that's so true.
Many years ago, back in January of 1990, I asked to be a contestant on the Wheel of Fortune, the TV show.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And so they sent me a letter first, and they said, we will be calling you within the next 13 months. I thought 13 months, that's a lifetime. They finally did call. And when they did, they asked me if I could come and do the program on a particular date that I had already given to God. I promised that date to God. I had something to do for him, and it was important, and I wasn't going to back out of it. And so I said, no, I'm sorry. I'm not available that date. They said, okay, thank you. And they hung up. And I thought, I hope they call back. They did call back. And 2 weeks later, they called back and they had another opening, and it was 2 weeks away. I knew that I got the booking, the second call, because I was honorable to my commitment.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be a commitment to God. It can be any commitment. If I get a $1,000 show from a company, and then somebody calls me the next week for that same date for a $5,000 show, I'm sorry, I'm already booked.
Yes.
I have to honor, my integrity is too important. Okay.
I believe in that 100%. And I'm not sure. I do believe in that. We want to, so often we want to grab the next fast buck and just leave our customers. Yeah. Oh my gosh. And I see that happen. I see that happen with my own business.
Yeah. Yeah. And it can destroy a business if it's done too often or to the wrong people. Getting back to the Wheel of Fortune. So I had 2 weeks before my appearance date. Every day and every night when I went to bed, I dreamt about the Wheel of Fortune. And every time I was on the Wheel of Fortune in my dreams, I won between $30,000 and $40,000.
Yes.
And I thought, okay, so I kept dreaming this dream. When I got on the show, and So I really wasn't too surprised when I ended up winning $37,000. The thing that upset me was that I didn't dream about winning a larger amount, but I was satisfied with the $37,000.
Steve, I wrote a book a couple of years ago called The Listening and the Knowing. And that is an example of your dreams can mean something.
Yes, they can.
Or our waking, our hello self moments can mean something. And sometimes we just, oh, that was just an accident. Oh, that doesn't mean anything. Yeah. But I think that if we pay attention, our soul, our body, our spirit, our relationship to God gives us signals along the way to help us manifest at the altitude that we want to be in. And I'm telling you, it is so true. And I've lived it my own life. And yeah, every book that I have written, I did not create. They came to me in a dream or as I was waking up in the morning.
That's the way some of the greatest books are created. The Bible was created that way. It was written by people that were inspired by God. They didn't write it. They just translated what their inspirations were onto paper. But anyway, let's get back to this. Speaking of the Wheel of Fortune.
Yes.
You got to buy vowels. If you're going to do advertising, you got to buy vowels. A-E-I-O-U.
Yeah.
For example, A, access. Tell your prospective or prospect who you are and how they can get a hold of you. Make your phone number easy to see and rememberable. That's A, that's access. Examples. Show your prospect that you have a proven track record. Include brief testimonials from satisfied customers. Lists a few notable references. If you are targeting a particular audience, mention some of the important people in that field who will endorse you and your program or your product. The I is in impression. Let your prospects get a glimpse of you through your promotional material. Use catchy phrase and eye-catching photos. Have an unusual bit of artwork to generate interest in your programs. The O would be obvious benefits. Tell your prospect why they should use you. What would be my benefit from using you? Make your next meeting a hit. Give them at least one reason that they can't live without you.
Yes.
And the U would be urgency. Make your prospects feel that the world would collapse if they don't call you immediately. Come first. First come, first serve.
First come, yeah.
Only a few openings left. Seats are limited while the supply lasts. Statements like that show the urgency.
We hear that all the time. Yes. We hear, what was the E again, Steve?
Yeah, the E was examples.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Brief testimonials.
I love that because these are things, what you are giving the audience is tools that they can use to create the business they want or manifest their ideas. This is exactly what I was hoping my magician would bring to us.
I didn't travel around the world by not doing this stuff. And now that I'm not doing it anymore, I'm hoping that somebody else can utilize some of this information.
Oh, yeah.
Make themselves a success. And another thing that's important is, and we're going to wrap it up here in just a couple of minutes, but another thing that's important is knowing what business you're in. Now, let me explain. Avon, for example, is not in the makeup business. Union Pacific is not in the railroad business. Think about that for a minute. Avon is not in the makeup business. Avon is in the beautification business. Isn't that better than makeup business? Union Pacific is not in the.
It sounds like business. A level up, Steve.
Yes, it is. Union Pacific is in the transportation industry. Yeah. What business are you in? Make it interesting. If people ask me what I do for a living, I would say I create education in entertaining ways in an effort to lead others into a more loving relationship with the creator and savior of the world, Jesus Christ.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
More than being a magician.
This is, yeah, exactly. This is, you know what? I always say that titles are not who we really are. It's just things that we give for the world to, because they put us in boxes. And
Yeah.
so it's okay, he's a magician. We're going to put him in that box. But we are more.
We're much more.
Oh my God. And you've just
Absolutely.
proven today that you're much more. You're a consultant, you're a coach, you're an expert in certain fields, you're a magician, you can entertain. I could just go on in one or two titles.
Maybe I could become a public speaker and teach
You
this stuff.
are. No, you are a public. You just have written a beautiful speech for people. Steve, so many people are looking for that next step in life, moving forward, going to do something, but they don't know how to start. Or and they can't afford to hire somebody. Here you have given them tools right now to get their dreams and goals off that someday shelf and at least take a step forward.
I certainly hope so.
No.
In closing, I've got a couple of things. Two things to say, actually. Number one,
okay.
Be committed to quality.
Oh my God.
Quality. Don't go to Walmart. I shouldn't say that. I own Walmart stock. Don't go to J.C. Penney's. That's not a bad store. And buy your clothes. They may last you a few years. Buy the best clothes you can afford to buy.
Yes.
Now, if Penny's is all you can afford, I understand that. But if you can afford better, buy better. No, buying the cheapest you can find is not a bargain. That's true with magic. That's true with the dance clothes. Everything in life. If you always go the cheapest route, you're always going to be the cheapest.
Steve, it is a mindset. It is a mindset, and it goes through our whole life if we have that mindset. Yes. I got to tell you a quick story here.
Go right ahead.
I wore an outfit the other day and somebody said, "Oh my God, that's beautiful. Where did you get that?" Or when did cuz I just love it. And I said, "I know you're not going to believe this, but I'm from Indiana and a friend of mine sold directly from Doncaster. They were a little bit more expensive, but I bought this 30 years ago and I wear it every year. And you know what? And it's not that I have a lot of money. What I do is I buy quality."
There are comments that I hear from my wife all the time when she'll be talking to somebody and she'll say, "I have shoes older than you. Outfits older than you." and she does. And they're all quality and they're all taken care of. You've got to take care of your props.
We could talk all day, and I mean, but I want to invite everybody. Oh, is there any other things that you want to say, Steve? Otherwise, I'm going to wrap us up today.
Well, in closing, I just want to say this. You have to be able to believe you can do what you do. If you don't, you won't believe it. Don't take your eyes off your goal. Don't listen to those who have never succeeded, but are so anxious to tell you why you're going to fail. Don't listen to those people. If you have a dream, whatever that dream is, dare to believe it and to try it. Give it a chance to happen. Don't let someone else rob you of that faith in yourself that makes things happen. If you have a flame of a dream down inside, thank God for it and
Yes.
do something about it.
Yes.
Don't let anybody else blow that flame out.
You know what I say to that, Steve? I say when somebody tells me that, next.
There you go.
Yeah, my family says, "Sis, when are you going to retire?" And I said, "I have 3 times. Why do I feel like I've got more to give to the world and to enjoy in my own life." Yeah,
Absolutely.
What do you got there?
What have I got here is a rock, just an ugly old rock. Some of us have some ugliness someplace in our life. We may not be the handsomest person or the best looking person.
Yes.
There may be a lot of problems, but this is the outside. What's really important is what's on the inside. I don't know if you can see that or not.
Yes, I can. It's beautiful quartz.
Yes.
The
don't
pinkish.
worry about the outside as much as the inside. The outside's important, don't get me wrong. But the inside is what's most important.
That's
your
exactly.
integrity,
That's
your
exactly.
heart, your drive, your desires. Go for it.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh, this is fabulous. I love it. And it just confirms beliefs that I've got in my own life and that I try to share. I am so grateful that you came on my podcast. And I know my audience is, just because of the magic you have shared through ideas and strategies for life. This is magic, Steve. You're still committing or doing magic by simply sharing your expertise. Oh my gosh, this is great. And I want to, as we begin to sign off, thank you so much for being here. I'm so excited. And to my audience, I'd like to say, come to see my High Heels Cabaret show on June the 2nd at 1:30 at Peg Studios on 120 White Bridge Pike Road. Yeah, White Bridge Pike Road in Nashville. So come and see it. It's free. You can get in and just see the shooting of the show. This is the Hello Self podcast, and I am your host, Patricia Leonard. I hope you picked up something today that improves the quality of your life. And remember, I always like to say to you, keep dreaming. Thank you for joining Hello Self today, and may it offer insights and inspire you to stay on your runway to success. Like, share, and subscribe. And remember this, keep dreaming.